So I'm here with Dalma Komjati. She's one of the candidates for SU presidency. How are you?
It's very stressful. I am exhausted, but I am also enjoying it so much. It's like the most fun I had in years.
Yeah, how are you? What do you think is the most difficult part of campaigning?
I think generally approaching people, like it's quite unnerving to go up to a big group of people to just put yourself out there. Or for example, when we give like lecture shoutouts and there's like 100 of students in the lecture who have never seen you before, and you just stand out there and be like, "Hi guys, I'm Dalma. Do you have a moment?" So can be quite unnerving. But now that I've been doing it for like 5 days, I have got like used to it pretty much.
Yeah. So in your manifesto, for example, you talk about a couple of things. So let's go back to your proposal to support Tier 4 students and to find employment and stuff like that. What are some things that you think can be done to support exchange students?
So I believe that many of the schools separately are quite like prestigious or have great influence. They were able to last year introduce the microplacement program. So I believe that the schools could liaise with employers to introduce internships, part-time jobs, or some kind of work experience that are only 20 hours a week. So it fits into the international students' like weekly hour limit, because as you know, international students have the visa limit that they can only work 20 hours a week. And even with most part-time jobs, it's 24 hours a week. So I would like, especially the bigger schools such as CAS or City Law or the SHS, which are quite like prestigious, to get employers to introduce some places where international students can also go to.
Great. So for that you will need a lot of liaison between staff and students. Or do you think you're prepared to communicate effectively between those two?
Yes, I believe so, especially because the schools want their students to work as well. How high the employability after the degree is done really affects the school's like ranking. So the school's priority should be to give as much experience to their students as possible in order to go to work. However, as we know, the workplace is getting more and more competitive, and many employers expect their newly come graduates to already have some kind of internship experience or any kind of relevant experience. Thus, providing international students who make up a very large part of the student community with this experience will definitely affect the ranking and the way employers and students perceive the school as well.
Okay. Sorry. So another one of your proposals is finding common room for every school to have more places to study and more social space. But City currently has a very big problem with social spacing and not having enough social space. How do you go about this?
So first and foremost, we will have the new law building open. That will probably open up many spaces, hopefully, if it does open in time, which I really hope so. Apart from that, I know that Tuna, who is the current president, was able to secure some common rooms with taking over some staff rooms or rooms that might have been used but not that like necessary in order to provide more space to students. After all, there is nearly 20,000 students in this university if we include everyone who studies here. And currently only a few common rooms exist. So I know journalism has a common room, there's a computer science like computer room. The engineering common room is like a joke, I would say, because don't know if you know, but they basically put it into a warehouse where there is no stop work going on. It's not separated in any way. So that has to move. Like this is one of my main priority for the engineering common room to be moved into a normal room. And CAS and Law has their own common room. So I really hope so that either by just simply rearranging the space, because I think the university generally does not utilize space very well, and also by opening the new building and being able to move some of the whole law department there and opening up the college building for other students as well, we will be able to secure more student space.
Okay, so your candidacy is very different from other candidates, even for SU presidents, but also from VPs of education and community. what makes you stand out?
I believe I am listening to the student concerns. So even right now, when I am campaigning, I am very interested in what the students has to say. Even if I don't get elected, I am just generally like interested what their experience is. And I have got so many like interesting feedbacks and learned so much about the different schools I have never in my life heard before. CAS is very separated or isolated, I would say. We are quite privileged. The university is putting a lot of resources in our department, and I would really like to give back to the community. I am also currently the CAS student councillor and the director of the venture capital in the CAS M&A and PE Society. So I believe I have some leadership experience and like can represent the students. And apart from that, I generally just care about social issues a lot. So I think several of these smaller things make me hopefully stand out.
Yeah, that sounds great. How, so in terms of a much more social university, how would you go about that? Because currently there's not as much involvement of students with the students' union. So how would you go about like promoting what the students' union is doing and getting students involved in the whole process?
Yes, that is indeed true. Not many students have any clue what is going on with their student bodies. I believe this is mostly the problem with the students' union communications. Like, they are already working on it. They implemented a new strategy this year in order to communicate better what they are working on, because the student union really gives a lot to students, even if students don't know. I think making it less bureaucratic to create societies and to organize student events would definitely help, because there is a lot of paperwork involved with that. So many students might just get turned like down by that you need maybe 30 days or a month to like get approved. Like you have to apply for some events in order to get it done, like 30 days before the event, you know. It's a lot of work, and a lot of students are already stressed out by their course, by their work, by their looking for experience. So I believe making everything as easy as possible for students is an important thing. Also, another very good thing that Student Union is currently working on is taking over the City Bar. So currently City Bar is managed by Sodexo, and they would like that the space itself would be get back to students, and only the bar would be managed and the food place Sodexo. This would mean that City Bar could be open like non-stop, or like not non-stop, but you know, from the morning. It would be, they would also like to redecorate and organize the space, so it would be more student and activity friendly. It's such a big like empty space. They would like to put more tables, more chairs and other stuff into it. So I think if they can push that through, then City Bar can really become a good like social space for students, which they can like book or rent, make events there, and it would not be just about drinking and partying, but other social events, because a lot of the school cannot participate with this kind of like socializing. So I think introducing other socializing apart from like drinking is also very important.
Yeah, sounds awesome. So great. So another thing that you say, how do you support students academically? So there is the academic advice already in the Students' Union, but a lot of students don't know directly where to turn unless they are actually supported by someone in the Students' Union. How would you go about working with the different VPs and different officers in the Students' Union?
Yes, I think this once again comes down to communication. So for example, when first years come to this university, I believe all of these departments should be introduced to them. So when later in life or during their university life they have some kind of issue, they do know where to turn. So I have been studying here for 3 years, right? And I am still exploring and experiencing new things that this university has to offer in case of emergency or in case of any kind of things going wrong. And I believe just the university generally making these things more accessible through emails or posters, or just generally sending student ambassadors there to talk about this, or people working with the student union, or maybe just getting their teachers to know about it, because maybe many professors and teachers might also not be completely up to date on what the student or what the union or what the university has to offer currently, would be a big step ahead. So I think just generally upping the communications, emails, posters, just talking to people generally would really make a difference in this.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
And good luck with your campaign.
Thank you very much.